Hi everyone, welcome to another session of finding inner peace and security in the world when everything seems out of control, or just in general, like you're trying to figure things out for yourself, you're trying to figure out life. So in this discussion or this session, we are going to be talking about delight. The focus is finding delight in life, finding delight in the small moments, the big moments. Whatever moment you're experiencing, being able to have the tools or connecting to the tools that allow you to find delight in a situation. And what does delight mean to you? That's the question that you always just start everything. Like whenever someone brings up a topic or wants to have a conversation with you and asks you a question, don't be afraid to ask them, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by delight? What does being delighted or being in delight mean? For someone, it can mean just having or experiencing a sense of abundance, experience a sense of value, of self-worth, having a good laugh, laughing at a good, poop joke, laughing at a good whatever kind of joke that brings laughter into your heart, that allows your heart to sing, that allows you to connect with people and feel like you are in a tribe where you are valued, you are loved, and that you're contributing something to the world. Because it is my consensus that no one is like truly lazy, or no one wants to be someone who just takes. I think most of us, 90% or all of us, really want to have value in the world. And because of different things that happen to us, the way that we go about having value in the world can be not so great for other people, and it becomes self-indulgent, or it becomes like a power trip or an ego trip or something that oppresses others, or some things that put people in victim mentality, or jealousy, or all these different things. But I think, and I truly believe in my heart, that all of us want to be in value in some way, and then sometimes that gets warped depending on our experience and the environment with which we are dealing with, right? So what does delight mean? Like I said, you have to define that. You can also, if you don't know what it means for you, start with a dictionary definition and look it up, Google it, figure out what the word means to you. To like if we break it down, you have D, E, right? But if you take the DE away, you have light, to bring light into your essence, to connect with a vibration that makes you smile, that makes you happy, like I mentioned before, that brings you joy. And to connect with those things. Delight can be watching a really nice movie that makes you smile. Delight can be hanging out with your family, your friends, your kid, having a conversation with a baby. And by conversation, I mean like not talking to them, but smiling with them and doing, little faces at them and having them react to that, and you feeling that inside and understanding that you're having a conversation with a baby in a different way, and acknowledging that the energetic conversation that's going on between you and this other innocent like energy. So define what is delight for you. It could be bird watching, it could be playing with a pet, it could be connecting with your partner, opening yourself up to a different perspective, allowing energy to come into your space that you may not be readily open to, can bring delight to you. So again, it is about defining, what does delight mean for you. So I would suggest taking a piece of paper and writing these things out, or even going through the process of doing a journal where you define these things for yourself, and then you write out how you plan on accomplishing them. One way to start really small is to say, determine what delight means to you, right? You write it out, you say, okay, this is what I believe delight means to me. Then the next question is, how can I bring more delight into my life? And if you are like courageous enough, or you're ready to step out of that comfort zone, how can I bring delight to others? How can I be of service to others? How can I take this definition of delight and bring it out into the world and be of value in the world by being in delight, by being in a place where I am content and happy and open to being happy even when things are not so great in my environment or in the environment of the world. How do I deal with that? How do I find moments of delight in places where delight does not want to exist? And what that helps you to know is opportunity. It helps you to recognize when opportunity comes knocking at your door, because sometimes I think we believe that opportunity looks a certain way and somebody says, hey, this is opportunity, and that's not the way it always happens. Opportunity can be very can be light. There can be a light knock, there can be a whisper, there can be a thought, an idea, a connection, a moment. And it is you understanding your intuition, you understanding the conversation you have with yourself to know this is an opportunity that I should go after, that I should take delight in. And opportunities happen in the darkest of times, in the lightest of times. Opportunities are always around. It is about us figuring out the moments of opportunity and seizing them. And that goes, as I always say, about knowing yourself. That's why I encourage people to put so much work into knowing and understanding themselves, because when you do that, you're able to understand how you relate to the environment, and you're able to say, well, this is not me, this is something that's coming from the environment. How do I want to handle it? How do I want to manage it? How do I want to take advantage of a situation or not take advantage of a situation? If you allow, or if you know yourself to a certain level, you're able to make these decisions without being influenced on a subconscious level, because we're constantly being influenced, and sometimes we don't know that we're being influenced. We're influenced through our interactions with our family, friends, our interactions with ourselves, the subconscious energies that we probably don't pay attention to, but that influence us, the movies that we watch, the music that we listen to, the people that we find solace in with regards to the information that they put out there. A specific writer, a specific poet, someone who's giving you information on a subconscious level. How are you interpreting that information? That's the way you learn. Is that information something that is useful to me, or is it just information and I can just keep moving and say, you know what, this was cool. I enjoy the process of learning this person's train of thought, of learning this individual or this group's ideas, but is it really something that's aligned with me? Maybe not. Or yes, it is something that's aligning with me. And how do I find delight in that moment and take opportunities that are helpful to me, that allow me to grow, and recognize them. So the first thing is recognizing those opportunities. And recognizing those opportunities comes when you are in a space of delight, when you are in a space where you are able to find joy and possibility in all the moments that you are experiencing in life. And it helps you when you improve, or when you become in a space where you are very protective of what you allow into your space. And I can't think of the word right now, but we call it, or sometimes I call it having I can't think of the word, it's completely escaped me, but maybe it'll come back to me. But having yeah, it's like at the tip of my tongue. It's so annoying. But having a barrier, or having a process where you can eliminate information that comes to you, and knowing when you need to step away. We talk about that a lot because solitude allows for us to know who we are. Moments of solitude allow us to get connected with our inner voice. It allows us to process, digest information in a time that is of your convenience versus the environment that you're in. And I was today reading something where, someone brought up a process of, like, for example, you are rushed to do something, you go to the store and there's a huge line, and the person or the persons that are helping you are not on the same energy level that you're on. So then you attempt to rush them, and then they become frustrated, you become frustrated, and it causes antagonism, or it causes the energy to be cluttered, and then you're unable to communicate properly to each other. What solitude does, and you can have solitude in moments where you're with people, it allows you to go within, stop, go within, assess the situation, and say, what do I need to do differently at this moment? And so what I'm saying here is solitude is something that you can physically move yourself to a space where it's just you. You can go out into nature, you can go into your own room, you can go into a space where it's just you by yourself, whatever it is that you need or define solitude as. Or it can be in the moment on a psychological or emotional level where you assess a situation and then you decide in that moment how you're going to react. So you can use moments of solitude to help you every day to decide how you're going to react to something, because when you can control that energy, it means that you're not being controlled by the energies of others. You're not being controlled by your emotions. You're not reacting to your emotions. Rather, you're able to slow down your thoughts. You're able to slow down your emotions and get connected to a space that allows you to make a decision out of love, out of compassion and understanding that is critically processed, not just like, oh, this is how I feel and this is how what I must do, but this is how I feel. How does it relate to my mind? How does it relate to my heart? And what actions can I take now? Because there has to be balance to me in all of that. So being in delight, first, it allows us to see the opportunities. It helps us to improve understanding when we need solitude, or these situations with which we need to practice solitude. I think that's correct. And what that allows us to gain is more miracles, more wondrous things that happen to us, more understanding that although life is, or this life right here is a bundle of facts, is a bundle of solid information that we've assessed, like in the sciences, in mathematics, and all these things, there are things that we haven't overcome yet, or we haven't touched yet. There are things that we still can't explain, and that's okay, and we look forward to that, and we are open to that, but we still understand there's a rule of this physical existence that we must manage as we open up to the possibilities of things being completely probably different than what we think right now. Because think about it, our ancestors, the people that came before us, this interaction that we're having right now, they could have never fathomed. They probably never thought about this. This is probably something that would be wondrous to them. Like, their interactions with it is be like discovering something completely out of their context, completely out of their perspective, but yet we are experiencing it. So what this does is they had a set of rules that they worked with, and throughout their growth they uncovered different things that allowed us to be experiencing this present moment right here. In the same way, we have a set of rules and we have things that we're uncovering that future generations will be like, wow, that was their perspective, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. But presently, there are things that we understand and there are things that we don't understand. And how do we manage that? How do we find delight in the knowing and the unknowing, or in the knowing and the mystery of life? You know, how do we understand that not everything that's proposed to us is always correct, and allow our minds to kind of leave room for the things that we say, you know what, there's no fact for this, there's no science behind this, but I'm allowing a space in my mind to kind of contemplate that, right? Because there is that possibility. Maybe we just haven't discovered it yet. But how do you then, as a person who's completely into the wonders, still like allow yourself to live in a world where there are facts, where there is mathematics and science proving certain theories, proving certain things in life? And this is just an example, and I don't know why I'm using this convoluted example, because there's probably something more simple. But it allows us to know that there's space, there's a possibility to travel to space, there is even this planet, so many undiscovered things here in the water, like the oceans go so deep. There's a possibility that there's a whole ecosystem there that we have no idea about, but maybe our children's children, or even our children, will be the ones to discover that and bridge some of those things that we're unaware of now, and it be their reality. So gaining a sense of wonder, having a sense of mystery is okay, having a sense of awe, or open to the impossibility of the impossible. Like, you know, Jesus, God, all these things, there's no proof for them, but we believe, most people believe in their heart, this is it, this is something that is like super legitimate for them. And it's not about crushing their spirits and telling them you're completely wrong, you're blah blah blah, but it's about you or us opening up and finding the delight, finding that, you know, like the possibility of this existing, playing with it, having fun with it, and then discovering that maybe it is a possibility, but right now this is what we're in, and having fun with that too, and understanding that that has value and you can't dismiss everything because of X, Y, and Z. So delight is about finding joy, finding opportunities, and knowing so far when you need to like take a step back and figure things out again, and then process the information. And that requires a lot of stillness. That requires you being able to flow. That requires you not trying to convince people you're right, they're wrong, or vice versa. That requires you to kind of sometimes be like, you know what? I'm stepping back away from the situation. I'm not going to try to convince you that I'm right, but it's good that we had this conversation. It's good that we had this opportunity to share information, to see, for me to see your perspective, for you to see my perspective, because what that allows is for you to have a sense of inner peace, for me to have a sense of inner peace, and for us to be secure in the fact that we were able to connect, or able to have a conversation, able to have a dialogue, where you felt delighted that I was able to share information with you, and I felt delighted that you were able to share information with me, even though we may not agree on everything. But we find delightful moments in that, because we can find bridges where we do agree. We can find solutions to things where We may not have found any kind of solution had we not talked. Had we not talked, I may not know X, Y, and Z about you. You may not know X, Y, and Z. So being in delight is being open to opportunity to connect with people, opportunity to connect with yourself, to understand when you need to be in solitude, to take a step back, to learn what it is that you need to learn about yourself, your environment, so you can interact with that environment, and being open to the things that are undiscovered, being open to the mystery of life, and not having to have the answers to everything, and knowing that even though you exist right now, there's something bigger than you that exists outside of you. And if you've watched me for a while, I talk about how you are a version of God experiencing something very specific. And I'm very careful when I say things like that, because if you are in a space where you're not in delight, where you are ego-driven, where you are self-promoting or taking opportunities that are only self-indulgent, you'll think I'm saying that you are God. I am a God and I should rule over, and I am a God and this. No. When I say you're a God having experience, I truly believe that. Like, God is able to manifest within all of us, to have a specific experience of what it's like to be you right now, what it's like to be that person, what it's like to be this person, what it's like to be a fan, what it's like to be a rock, what it's like to be a fringe. I know it sounds completely ridiculous, but this is the wonder part of it. Like, I can do this as an individual. I can have these kinds of meditations and conversations with myself, and you don't have to believe it. It's okay, because we are having opportunities of exchange and learning to know each other from different perspectives. That's why sometimes you say, I am a reflection of you, you are a reflection of me. Because we are reflections of each other. Like, I am having this perspective, you're having a slightly different perspective, but it's still us having a big old perspective. And it's about getting back to that space, and that's where the room and the mystery for wonder happens. That's where sometimes you find delight, not knowing everything, not being able to solve every problem, in the sense that you need to know X, Y, and Z, but the wonder of trying to get there, trying to achieve that next step, that next evolution. And that happens when we discuss and talk to each other openly, when we get to know each other's perspectives, when we understand that we are reflections of each other having an experience. And the moments of stillness, because solitude and stillness are not the same. Solitude is like me being in a space by myself, but I could be doing anything in that space. I could be exercising, I could be painting, I could be listening to music, I could be playing music, I could be, doing pottery, gardening, whatever. Stillness is like being completely still, stilling your mind. Stillness is like being in meditation. And, in moments of solitude, you can have stillness. In moments of solitude, that's when you invite stillness into your life, where you say, I need to be still right now. I need to figure out what it is that brings me delight. I need to figure out what it means to be in delight, to be in solitude, to be in a space where I am constantly open to the wonders of the world. I'm constantly open to the mysteries of the world, to discovering more about myself, more about my brethren, more about everything that I share this space with, right? And the opportunities that can help me to evolve and grow as a person and contribute to the collective. So in this discussion, let's bring it together, because Sometimes I go off on a tangent, so I want to make sure that we get something clear with this conversation, that we get things clear. So we are talking about, in this series, security and inner peace, or inner peace and security, right? Finding ways to have inner peace, finding ways to be secure in our vision, in our journey, or in the experience that we're having right now, and what that means for you. And right now, we are touching on the opportunities for delight, the opportunities to find joy in your life. What does that mean for you to be in delight? How do you create spaces that allow you to be in delight? And we touch on the opportunities, as I mentioned before, you understanding when you need to be in solitude, you leaving room for mystery and not having to know everything right then and there, and being okay to say, agree to disagree, or being okay to say, I don't know this right now, but maybe in time I will come to the space where I recognize what you're saying, and vice versa. And being in stillness, not doing anything, not taking any actions, but just observing, understanding, and allowing ourselves to connect to the greater mystery of things, and connect with our internal guide, and see how that works in our environment, and how we can contribute to the delight of others as well as the delight of ourselves, and still be of value to the world, and still be open to learning more and growing. All right, I hope this energy helped you. I hope this conversation helped you. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, and to touch on the bell, because you doing all this stuff helps the channel to grow. It is the cheapest way to help me build my dream, right? Because you don't have to buy anything from me. All you have to do is let the YouTube algorithm know that what I'm saying has value and can help someone else. So that's it. But if you want to connect with me on another level, and you want to help me grow by purchasing things from me, I am going to be posting at the end of the video all the jewelry that I'm wearing. And if you want to connect with that, watch my other videos where I talk about how I make the jewelry, the significance of it for me. And yeah, I'll also post the cards that I'm using. So if you want to make that step for yourself and connect with a deck, you can have those conversations with yourself, and you can start your journey and figure out what it is that you're trying to accomplish in the world. If you don't know, or if you already know, what tools can you gain to support you through that process? I love you. Take care, and let me know. Talk to me, man. I love reading your comments. Okay? Bye, guys.